Hello, this is Gail Vickers with WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, Everything Entrepreneur. Hello, this is Gail Vickers with the Everything Entrepreneur Show. Thank you for joining me, Cece. She is the founder and owner of the Going Solo Network, WGSN-DB.
But thank you. It's a delight to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I appreciate you joining us. They were so positive, and their whole thing is about adding value to people. Because at the end of the day, who have you added value to? That's how you're going to get paid, right? Eventually, you might not get paid right immediately because you still have some skills to learn or whatever. But in the end, if you can wind up at the end of your life, basically, and leave the legacy of adding value to others and having a meaningful life, that's really what life is all about, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This station is really only a year old, and we have some wonderful, wonderful hosts on, and we've touched the UK, Canada, internationally, all around the United States. And we've done that in a year. And it's mainly because not what people are paying for, because it's an internet station, but it's because of the wonderful hosts that we have on that are willing to give of themselves. And so that's what I think is so amazing, absolutely amazing, is every show that's on, 24/7, we're a 24/7 streaming station, except for at this moment that we're working on the server, but we have to update, and that's just all there is to it. But, they just give constantly every week. Their shows are amazing. I listen to them. I learn from them. I get empowered by them. And so it's amazing what we can do even when we thought we could do nothing.
It is. And Cece and I met last year, October of 2015, I believe.
Oh, you're good at that. I'm so bad at that. Remember?
Well, that was my first launch. That was my first show where I invited people and to join me on doing interviews like these. Mm-hmm. And I must tell you, Cece, this was my very favorite part of my job. I love doing interviews. I know you do too. You're just perfect at it. So yeah. Thank you for inviting me to be a part of your network. And I love being a host here. And I love, I'm looking forward to many good years with you, Cece.
Yeah.
Just going, and you offer those or show on your radio station. And I just thought, wow, what a generous thing for you to do. So,
well, we have so much in store because, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network is just right now one of the stations that we have. We have broken out to Going Solo Network, and we have a lot of affiliates that we're now on. We're doing Blog Talk Radio, Cloud, SoundCloud, iTunes. I mean, we're hoping to capture and just really be a global network for singles to be able to connect with. And we've got some other things under our hat, some other sites that we're working on with some other people that I've brought on board, and they are good friends, and we're working together in a joint effort. And so I'm excited about that. But we really want to be a place that singles can comfortably go and get valuable information to be able to empower themselves, to be able to grow from within, to really change their lives. And so our tagline is really changing lives one talk show at a time. And I think that's what we do. We really have some really cool shows, cool guests on. The guests, we have like an author's corner, which is exploding. We have wonderful authors that come on and talk about just a variety of type of books. And then we have our business showcase, which we're trying to develop that now and really grow that a little bit more. I would love to so if anyone's listening, you have your own business, I would love to have you come on, either Gail or I can interview you and talk about your business and your products and your services, and be able to open that to the singles to let them know that we have all these different businesses that we can embrace and be able to enjoy. And so we're going to do some events. We've got in our local area in Tampa Bay, we've got some cool events happening. We got a movie night that we're going to be doing with the singles, and And I'm expecting that to be fun. And we're going to be doing a live. I just started this new show, and I'll share it with everyone. It's called Boy and Girl Thing, and I do it with Christopher T. Kit, which is his name, Smith. And we're talking about girls and guys, the differences, because, men look at things differently than women do. As shocking as that might be to us women, but they do. And so him and I are good friends, and so we talk about that. And so we're covering right now online dating, but we're going to be having in, I think, the end of like the 26th, I want to say, of February, we're going to go live on a chat, like a date chat. And we're going to have some dating experts come on, and they're going to be talking. And we're going to do it here in the Tampa Bay area and have just a bunch of my friends gather in the living room, and we're going to be talking about it. So that should be a lot of fun. It should be very interesting. And I hope no one tells any secrets about me while I'm here. So I hope that there'll be
consequences.
I hope they'll be kind to me. But so we've just got a lot of, I think it's just embracing, it's like giving your life a hug, Yeah. Give your life a hug and say, you know what? It may not be exactly what I want it to be, so I'm going to make some choices, and I'm going to make my movement of choice. That's a big thing for me. I call it a movement of choice, which means I've made a decision, I've made a choice, and I'm going to move forward. And so, yeah.
And I see a lot of people that are very insecure, that they tend to waver back and forth. And it's like they're a little teeter-totter, they're just, should I not? And I say, stop the teeter-totter. Be like an arrow. Mm-hmm. And that's the main thing. You just need to focus. So where do you want to be in the next 5 years? Where do you want to be in the next 30 years? Where do you want to be at the end of your life? What do you want to leave behind you in your wake? And whatever that is, put it at the very top of your arrow. And then these two, that's like the passion, the people, and the purpose, the group. And that's what we do at Triangulate today.
I love that. I love that.
And then you shoot like an arrow, like laser focus on that ultimate goal, because whatever that is, that's where your energy is going to go. Right. That's where the arrow is going to go. Mm-hmm. And whatever
that teeter-totter that you're talking about, that's fear. And what's happening, it's a blockage, and it doesn't allow you to make a decision. So you're so fearful of doing anything. So what I'm saying is take that fear and like, again, flip the coin and propel it. Like you said, make your triangle, go up to the top, and just keep driving yourself to do it. And maybe you have to make some changes and tweak along the way. I mean, that's just the way life is.
You will have to tweak, but that's called being polished, right? None of us start out polished.
Oh yeah, let's talk about polish for a minute. When I started the station, I started my own show. There was so many things that would go crazy. Like one time we had a show, I was doing a live show and it was video and everything, so you could see me. And the guy kicked over the only light in the room, and it was dark. And so I had to keep, even though it was audio and everything, they couldn't see me. I had to just keep talking. And so I said, on Going Solo, we just keep rolling. And that's exactly what we do. It's like, there's really nothing polished about our station. I mean, there's a lot of things. I know that people out there that are type professionals in broadcasting probably look at it and say, oh my gosh, the sound quality may not be perfect. There may be some.
Or the lighting. They get into all the technical aspects.
Kinds of things. But we're not all about that. We are about the content. We are about helping people. We are about, being able to make a change in their lives. And so I don't think we're ever going to get polished, because I want to keep growing. I want to keep moving in my life. And so I'm not going to sit and polish the fine china or the silver. I'm going to just say, okay, let it be and move on. I remember my mom saying,
I just sold all of mine.
I remember my mom saying when I was little, she said, when my kids were little, she said to me, do you want to have great kids and loving kids and spend time, then you have to spend time with them. It doesn't, you're not going to have a clean house.
Right.
So, and I used to, want to clean, and they're all little, and they're getting into everything, and they're tearing everything out. And I used to have a big Tupperware cupboard, and they would drag all that stuff out. As soon as I put it away, they drag it back out again. And I remember her saying that, and she said, just let it go. Let your house go if you have to. Spend time with them and clean up afterwards. Just, my kids have turned out really great. Really great. So I think it's the same thing in business. You have to spend time in business. It may not be polished. You may not be perfect. But
it may look messy.
Yeah. And then you call Gail and get your website straightened out.
and we are here to help you. We are here to run alongside you and be your coach. And we don't want to be your coach forever, because that means that you're not making enough money. You need to be polished.
Well, the thing is success. Someone asked me one time about a date. We were talking about dating sites, and they, what is a successful dating site? What is, out there? What is a successful dating site? I said, well, any site where you actually meet somebody that you have a relationship with. That's the success. It doesn't matter if it's one or another. And it's the same thing with you, it's regarding the coaches. You're there to succeed. You're there to help them as a coach, for them to succeed as to whatever it is, whatever path they want to be able to move forward. That doesn't mean that, like you said, 3 months, it might be 3 months, but then maybe it might be extended a little bit further, because as you're moving forward, things start changing, your path starts changing. And so, you come up with a fork in the road. Should I do this? Should I do that? And I have that. I have that with myself too. And being able to connect with those people that can help you. And I think you can definitely do that, Gail.
And also then that's when you start repackaging. Like, you can have lifetime mentorship programs and offer a set fee for that, but it's really not about the money. It is about their progress. And if you can get like 100 testimonies of successful businesses that are, they wouldn't have been in business maybe, or maybe they would have given up too soon, and you've helped them to walk through those really rocky roads, and then you help them to get through that white water in their business, and then they end up and they get to the smooth water, and then they're actually sailing, and then they're inviting people to get on board of their kayak or their boat, or their raft. I always like to talk in terms of metaphors, but because my brain thinks like in pictures.
That's good. Well, that's the kindergarten teacher.
I think so. There's my kindergarten teacher coming out.
Here, let me draw this for you. And I'm so blunt and matter of fact and things like that. But I've learned so many things. Like, I think social media, people are afraid of it. I think it's our friend. I love it. I use it all the time. I'm really big in Facebook. I love Facebook.
Me too.
And I love LinkedIn. I'm growing my LinkedIn more. And I don't do Twitter so much because I'm too talkative, and so you only can have a small amount. and I struggle with that. And I'm getting better. But the thing is, it's there for us. It's a tool for us to use and to embrace it. But I think we have to be very careful about what we put out on social media to make sure that it doesn't get misused or things like that. So
yes. And I'm guilty because I talk about religion and politics on my Facebook page, but that's something that's dear to my heart. I've always been like a political junkie, and I also feel prayer, like I pray for the nation and the world basically. So I'm really involved intellectually. That's my with what's going on in the world. So I get my Drudge Report every day, and see what the world news, and then what Facebook to me, because I stopped using it for personal reasons. Like, I wanted my kids to be on there, and because of our nasty divorce, they were told that wasn't a good idea. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't allowed to post pictures of my kids on Facebook or anything, because my kids wouldn't let me because of my ex. And so anyway, long story short, so I started using Facebook more like for me to connect to people rather than in different ways, not just showing my kids or my puppies or
Yeah, yeah.
or
Well, I mean, some people, that's they have a different life. They have a different lifestyle. And we have a business, and so we're growing our business. I use it for that, but I also share my own personal, like when I went to go see my grandchildren, I put pictures of them. I put up things about myself because I am real. I am just like everyone else, struggling out there, trying to get through the day. Sometimes I have bad days, just like everyone else, and I have fantastic days.
Yeah.
That I hope that they will keep linking together, and I will have more of those. So I want people to know that I'm real, but I don't try to take a particular stand on anything because I have my own beliefs. I have my own, and I do post sometimes. I do believe in God. I do post those things sometimes. I try to keep the station more of a neutral because I want everybody to be touched and embraced.
Yeah.
So we do have some shows that are touching more on the religious side, and I play those on Sunday. And I'm happy to do that because I do feel that whatever our higher power is, whether it's, whatever religion you have or whatever that is, I feel you should embrace it. I feel that you should believe in what you believe in and always be respectful of someone else, of mankind. I do believe in that. In politics, I mean, it's so up and down and things are crazy. I try to focus on what I can control and what I can make a change in. Yeah. I don't want, and for me, I don't like to sit and argue about going back and forth with this and this and they. Can you believe they did that or what? I can't change what they're doing. I can't change what they did. I can't, what they're going to do. All I can do, I voted. I can only do things that I can do, and that's what I concern myself about.
And that is very empowering. That's where you feel that spend your day taking care of your business, right? Mm-hmm. And your family and your friends and the animals that belong to you. You put in a good day there, right? And your clients and you've taken care of all the very important people and things in your life every single day. You're not going to have a lot of time to go ahead and bicker with like people on Facebook.
Well, I don't like to fill my space because I feel like your energy is very, very important, and what energy you take in, and if it's negative, if all this political talk that's going on now is negative, everybody is fighting, everybody's doing whatever. I don't have a place for that. I don't have the space in my life for that to be negative, anything to be negative. So I just don't do that. What I do is when I go on Facebook, if I see someone saying they need prayers or they're going through this or they're having a hard time, I go through, there's divorce groups out there that are not my own that I go in and I touch people and I talk to people and I try to give encouragement. I try to give a piece of myself, and I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm at home and they're always doing yard works out here. But I try to give a piece of myself and make a difference, make a difference in someone's life. Don't deal with the stuff you can't control.
Exactly.
And see, there again, you're taking ownership of something else that's not yours to take. And so take ownership of what you can do and make the world a better place. So just little bit by little bit, I try to do something better.
Yes. And the yard work isn't coming through, by the way. You're good. You're good.
Well, that's good to work. Yeah.
Yeah. But that is, Cece, that's true. Taking ownership is the key to everything, really.
Yeah.
Their personal life, your health, your wealth, your business, your relationships with other people. We're not victims, we're victors. So that doesn't mean you're not going to go through difficult times. You will go through difficult times because if you're an overcomer, you have something to overcome. So it's impossible.
I think those are your learning experiences.
They are.
Like some of the things that you've shared with us today, and like I said, things that I went through, they're learning things for me. Like, for instance, now you do websites that you wouldn't, had the website turned out beautiful, you would have never learned it.
I would never have had a need.
I do my own website. So
I want to salute you, Cece, on your tech ability. I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you.
With your technology know-how and your savvy. So, because
I just don't give up. I mean, that's the thing is I just feel like I'm just not going to give up. There was a point in my life when I thought, with my ex, I thought, I'm just going to give up. I'm just not going to do this. And then I started thinking, then he wins. Exactly. He wins if I give up. And so he deserves whatever he's going to get. And I know that it will come, whenever time it will come in. But I deserve to be able to move forward. And so to live my life. And so I know there was a time when I said, I am going to be successful just to spite him. and successful.
We all have that, don't we?
It's never about money. To me, it's never, because I'm not a big money person. But to me, it's about, empowerment, enlightenment, being able to move forward. And I thought to myself, I am not going to allow what he says or what he's done to me to make me feel that I am that kind of person. Yeah. So I'm going to do it. And so that's why I said, the technology stuff, I mean, there was a lot of times I go, oh my gosh, and I remember I would type up something and I'd do something and I delete it by accident and I got to write it again. And I'm not a big writer, but I do write for Patch.com, our St. Pete, and they've asked me and they've said they do like what I've written. Been a collaborator, author in a book, and so I would like to maybe sit down someday and try to put my story, my journey, in a book, not to cause havoc to other people, but just to show that you can move forward. And it's all learning. It's learning about yourself, understanding yourself as you keep going, understanding the patterns in your life so you can change those patterns, embracing yourself. Yeah. So it's all good.
And I just think too that women have gotten into toxic relationships. Sometimes it's not because I would ask that. I would say, God, what am I doing wrong here that I'm attracting all these weirdos? Because I'm just naive, Cece. I'm just simply naive. I expect the best about people. And then, I get into situations and a lot of these narcissistic type personalities are very charming.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's very what there's just we could go on a whole nother show about that and again, that's their behavior. But a girlfriend told me this one time as I was coming through divorce and she actually ripped me off terribly. but she told me this and she said, you have got to, and the one thing she did leave me with is she said to me that you need to stop expecting people to be like you.
That's what I had to learn, Cece.
Yeah. And that's what she said to me.
Exactly what I had to learn.
Yeah.
That's what broke the cycle right there.
Yeah.
I had to learn that, Gail, not everyone's like you. Mm-hmm. In fact, you're going to have to understand most people are not like you because as a teacher, we give and we give and we give. That's all we know how to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, all day long from 7:15 in the morning when you pick your kids up in the cafeteria to the end of the day, you're giving out of your everything. Mm-hmm. You don't have anything left. After the end of the day, you just sit in a chair going, I can't believe that, the day's over. If you bring that type of mentality into a relationship, that is not good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know what? It also gave me, and that's what I learned after she's no longer my friend, because of different things she did to me. I said to myself, okay, well, what am I going to take away from this? And that is what she told me. And I thought, okay, that is, you know what? That is really a learning tool for me. And so now, whenever I think, is someone not really being
upright?
Being right with me or whatever. I say that little phrase in my head and then I start really seeing them for who they are. I have some great friends that are like me, that are wonderful, that are giving, like Chuck Bryant that constantly helps me. And, Kit that does things for me. So, I mean, I have some great, great friends that are giving and nurturing and wonderful people. But there are those that come into my world, and I'm sure into yours and others out there, that have their own agenda, they have their own thing, and they don't understand that you have to give in order to receive. And
Right.
they just want to receive. So we have to understand that not everyone's like us. And I remember my mom saying too, is like, if everyone was bad, there would be no good people, So you have to have the mix. You have to have it.
As business owners realize, and as people that are trying to surround ourselves with other good people, when you're selecting what it takes for people like us that tend to be too trusting at times, and we want to think the best about everybody, right?
Right.
But in business, you have to know there are sharks out there and they have teeth. And so back to business coaching and mentoring and surrounding yourself with positive people that truly care about you and your best interest.
Yeah.
I think it's the truest, wisest thing anyone can do.
Yeah. Well, this was fun being on the show, and I thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, Cece, you're awesome. You are really an inspiration.
I feel the same for you. I feel that you are very inspiring, and I listen to your shows, and like I said, I listen to all the host shows, and I take away a lot from them. And I think we have to do that, be able to really embrace people around us, because there are, as you said, there are really good people out there. And we do need to.
And that God will direct your path, that he will bring in the right people to get you where you need to be. And I believe you're one of those people for me, Cece.
Oh,
so
well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been very touched, and I've been very blessed, and I agree.
I have been very enriched to know you. And you've taught me a lot about technical stuff too.
I learn all the time. It's like the networking part of it, there's a tremendous amount to learn about networking and being able to get out there and meet other people and expose yourself. So it's all good in business.
It is. And the more authentic in business, the better off you are, because my authentic self, I'm just laying myself out there, Lord. What am I going to do? And I just felt like prayer that he just kept telling me, he started showing me all these people that were truly authentic and how successful they were. They're millionaires. They're some of them are billionaires. They are true to themselves, and they help millions of people.
Right.
And I think the more authentic we are, the more people we actually help.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I hope people will take away from the business sector is to be who you are. And I think people will embrace you, whatever product, services that you're selling or whatever you're doing. I think people will come back to you because you are really who you are. And so we want to embrace who we are. And so many doors have opened for me, and many times I've said why as I'm zooming through it. And places that I've gone to, like you said, there were learning experiences. So I think that we have a lot to move through.
I don't believe in the word failure. I believe in the word learning experience. Anything that is not good, if it didn't work out, it's not that you failed at it. And I don't know why people are so intense on using that word so often. I think it's all perspective. I think
coming through the divorce, we hear that a lot. We hear failure because they, trying to get their marriage to stay together, they couldn't do it, so they feel like they failed. But going forward, as they move forward into that transition of being single, going through developing their new life, restructuring their life, redefining their lives, I think they start to look back on as a considered failure as something that happened, and they can learn and take away from it. So they can go in, move into another relationship, into a new relationship that's even stronger, better, and all the things that they maybe wanted it to be that the other one was lacking.
I look at those as stepping stones.
Yeah.
If we've got our little pond, right? And we've got our stepping stones. And to me, those are just simply stepping stones to something better.
Absolutely.
And it's like, so don't look at something doesn't work out. it's not a failure, and all these people get this condemnation, and then they have to overcome their internal self-talk. Their internal self-talk is the most important thing you can do all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to control that self-talk. And if you can't learn how to control the self-talk, then you're not going to succeed at anything, really.
Here's the thing. If you're in business, if we're talking business or life or anything like that, let's say because you like to use the metaphor, so you drive down the road and you have a fork in the road. And so you don't know whether you want to go, right or left. And so you take a particular way. Now, one way might be straight ahead to successful business or successful life. And the other way may be winding, turning. But guess what? There's still an end there. And you just have to keep going, the winding, turning to get there. You can't give up faith. You can't give up wanting to succeed or wanting what you really want in life. You can't give that up, because then you've lost, you've settled. I would say maybe lost, or you haven't failed, but you've settled. And then you settle for a life or a path or a business that you maybe necessarily don't want. So you just have to keep winding and turning till you finally get there. And along the way, you meet people, you meet other businesses, you meet mentors, you meet coaches, you meet other people that are going to help you succeed as you keep making those bends in the turn. And I think that's what we're here today, is to help those know that, okay, if you're on that windy or that roller coaster ride or whatever you're on, just know that there's going to be an end to it. And the results that you really want, if you keep the path, keep going, it will be there for you.
I went there and it looked, everything on the outside. I had the 4-bedroom home, the 2-bath, the long driveway, the basketball goal.
But here it is, you didn't have everything you wanted.
Exactly.
And that's it. So you're not finished. Still got another chapter here.
Yeah. I'm just saying, a lot of times we perceive perfection, or we perceive that road may be a straight path to success, because it looks that way, and it's not. Mm-hmm. And then you end up taking this long, winding roller coaster road through hell and high water, and you have literally survived that long, windy roller coaster road, and now you've got all this inner strength to share with everyone that you didn't have before.
I would say too is if you feel like you've gotten to the end of the road, but then there's still something missing, the reason for that is there probably is, and maybe you have to check back into your core again. You have to check back into your values, check back into your priorities, check back into who your friends are, your family. Are you doing all the things that you need to be doing? Because it's not just about money. It's about all of those elements that come together in your life. And so you can be very successful. You can be making a lot of money. Like you said, you can be having a nice house and nice cars, all those things. And you could be lonely and sad. You could be in a bad marriage. You could be all these things that could be negative. So you have to then step back from that. And it's what you view your life of success is. That's really the kicker for it.
I think once you realize that it's okay, that everything's not perfect like you wanted it to be, mm-hmm. and that you really understand that it's just a matter of moving forward. Think about it.
Well, I think that's true. I think that you learn things, and then your learning process is you retreat a little bit so you can absorb it. You kind of figure it out. What happened? What went wrong here? Why? Yeah.
How did I get there?
Yeah, right. You have to kind of rethink it and kind of train up to the next section of it. So, yeah, relationships in business, relationships, personal relationships, family relationships, all of those. There's ups and downs to all of it, and it's really kind of figuring out what you want in life, what you want in business, what your passions are, what your desires are. Your core of what's important to you. And I think that's what will make you successful. It's not about how much money you bring in, because the money will come. The money will be there. You have to be supportive of others too. I mean, so often I've done things where, I've gone to divorce support meetings where there's only one person there. And my family will say, well, why are you going? It costs you money to drive there and you're doing this. I said, because there's one person there.
Right.
Because I can change one person's life. I can make a difference in one person.
And that's all that
And
matters.
that person, you think about that person, if you can help them get through a really bad time in their life, how many lives are they going to touch? You know, because of what you did. How many lives are they going to touch? See, it's a snowball thing. It's the depth of which we live and our core that makes the whole thing. And so I know we kind of gotten a little deep. You know, we were kind of talking about business. I know we kind of got a little bit deep in it, but I think it's very important for people to understand that as we travel through, we do have to build relationships with people. We do have to do things we don't want to do. We do have to kind of give of ourselves when we really sometimes don't have that to give. Sometimes we have to gut it up and make it happen.
And that's where the faith and the courage comes in. Anytime you go into any type of business or relationship, it's all about faith and courage and believing, you know, that things can work out for good, not, you know, that nobody's going to go into business thinking that they're going to, you know, not be successful, right?
Right. So I guess what's our takeaway that we want people to?
I want people to know that they need to laser focus. Like they need to really sit down with themselves and reflect on what they're good at. And then, like you were saying, we gave them tips to do that and they can't figure it out on themselves or by themselves. There are personality tests to take. But they really, a lot of people, even in their 50s and 60s, are not sure what they're really good at. They've just kind of bought into the world view of what they're supposed to do. And they haven't really stepped out and taken that thorough look and assessment. And especially if they're in a transition going from, say, a married life to single, that's the perfect opportunity to redefine yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's the perfect time to totally redefine yourself. And you can do it in business, you can do it in your relationships, and then that is your time to really say, what does a good relationship look like to me?
Point in your life where you're growing your businesses. Everyone out there can take something away from this conversation, you know, wherever they're at in their life, whether it be, you know, something personal or business, if they could take something away and know that you can come from really having nothing to just figuring out a dream and a goal and trying to be able to strive for that and redefine and restructure your life. And, you know, you can just move forward and it will happen. It's just figuring out where you want to be and what your life is and your passions and things like that. So I hope that those listening, whatever place they are in their business development or in their own personal development, that they can take something away today that we've shared and some tips that we've shared and just keep going, just keep moving, right?
And the main thing is not to get stuck.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're there. That's what we're there for, is to help them not to get stuck.
And if you feel like you're on that teeter-totter of fear, it's important to get off the teeter-totter, set those goals, focus like laser, and go for it. Mm-hmm. And then if you need help, you know, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to have to close. How about you? I think we...
Yes, ma'am. We went on and on and on.
We did, because, you know, we're women and we start talking. But you know what? I think that the good... And we'll close it here. But I think the good thing is that we share a piece of ourselves. You know, we let the audience know and the listeners know that, you know, we are real people. You know, we've stumbled and we've gotten up and we just keep on going. And so I hope that by sharing both some of our personal life with some of our business and then the structure of business, they understand that we are just like them. And so we can connect, we can bond, and we can all move forward in a like-minded fashion. So, yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Cece, for being on the show. And
thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.